There we go.
Yep.
Thank you.
Anybody have any public comments? Okay. Approval of last meeting's minutes, the April 24th meeting.
I'll move to approve.
Have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, we have a move to approve by Carrie, seconded by Vola. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Agent report.
Well, we are in the midst and the final wind down of the virtual county fair. I know I missed April's meeting due to that was a vacation day. So March, April, and May, I was called to be on the CS6 or ES6 categories to be on the committee to make masks. So I literally, between myself and several volunteers, our group made 1,000 masks, while another group, which was a nonprofit, Garco Designs, made 5,000 masks or so, because they were making them for the hospital and first responders while we were making them for businesses. So of those masks, I probably made close to 500, but we had a 4-H club that made over 300 masks. And that 4-H club is now still making masks. We just got a request from the Navajo Nation, and they figured they would keep sewing. And so they're going to making 80 masks right now to send to the Navajo Nation to help them out. So that's their community service project, and I'm kind of proud of them. That club really stepped up. So so that's the biggest part of my March, April, May was I donated probably close to $1,000, $1,500 worth of my fabric from my stash to make the mask, bought the elastic. So all of that was donated. It was all me. We didn't buy it. So I still haven't figured out how if we get reimbursed for it, or if it's just a community service project we do as a whole. So that was the big thing I was working on. We started sourdough videos, and then we still have some editing to go through. Just because I was filming with home equipment, it was a little more challenging, and getting the right lighting and stuff. So I'm going to work on redoing some of that. I bought some of my own equipment to try to help do this, but it hasn't become a priority again since I've been back at the office. So maybe this fall I will get to finish it, because I literally have to make sourdough bread in different stages for 5 days up to 2 weeks before I can get ready to bake, because it has to ferment for a minimum of 24 to 48 hours in the proofing stage before you can go to the adding the rest of the flour to get to the bread spit stage. To there's a little steps involved, so we're working still on that. The AmeriCorps members are finishing up their year today, as the last day for this year. 3 of the 4 have signed back up to come back next year. So Gabby will be back, Heather will be back, and so will Kara. Gabby is going to be serving on a Serve Colorado committee to help provide training on the Western Slope for all AmeriCorps members for the state of Colorado. So that's kind of exciting to see an AmeriCorps member step up and really expand their knowledge and what does it mean to serve on a committee. So I'm excited to see how that goes. Other than that, I think we've been in fair mode since June 26th. We started with County Shoot. Starting part of it June 26th. We finished County Shoot July the 12th. We've had county contest, from cake decorating to fashion review, because they were small groups of kids, we could do them. We had a horse educational day. Dog shows still met in person because they were still small numbers. And everything else has been virtual, from dropping off projects to being judged. Instead of most of you who've done 4-H judging know we do it all in one day, and we spread it out over 3 days this year for judging for 4-H projects. so that we only had 2 judges in the hall at a time. Up the most 3 shooting sports, we had 3 judges, and just kind of divided it out. All the results are now posted. I worked with IT on the fair entry to be able to go to the back side of the program and check all the boxes that we've never checked from the beginning to make sure that families can go see all the results, including an open class. Open class itself was down except for food preservation, which doubled, and that was 146 projects of canned goods in open class. Took 3 judges from 9 to 5 to finish. So it was a large project. We even had fermentation of vinegars this year, which is the first time we've had those show up in a long time. So I don't know what else you guys would like to know.
All right.
Ask me questions and I'll answer.
Anybody have any questions on the agent report? All right, old business, Garfield County Education Center outdoor classroom update.
The videos are done. I'm waiting because of COVID, not many people are on campus. So we're trying to get all of that fundraising for community done. We received $15,000 from our LPMR grant. We received $100,000 from the Garfield County Federal Mineral Leasing District grant. We have a grant that we're going to be writing in conjunction with CSU Foundation to the Betcher Foundation, who has created a new capital campaign, which they haven't done capital campaigns in several years, for community outreach education centers. So our building really does fall under that. So we'll be working with them on that grant. We have the Williams Corporation grant that is coming up due. It's already written. It's just ready to hit submit. Community fundraising, we're working on. I did contact the funder that Commissioner Martin had been working with, that I have been working with, and we're still trying to finalize what their commitment is, because I know what they verbally committed that never got put in writing. But I need to know, since they've put so much money into COVID and food for everyone, how much are they still willing to do? So some of our stuff with fundraising got put on the back burner because of COVID, and a lot of our funders have really been going towards COVID. But we did get a 5-year grant from Alpine Bank for environmental education to go towards the outdoor classroom, which is the 3 acres behind the building. So we got a DOLA grant to start the master plan. Alpine Bank's already committed $25,000, so $5,000 a year for 5 years for that, and we already have $71,000 in the bank for that to come to fruition. So I know that we're working with the University of Colorado at Denver for the master plan. Then I'll have to go to landscape architect because of the floodplains that are there. Nathan Lindquist from the city of Rifle sits on that committee, since it joins in with Centennial Park and that trail system for Rifle. We've asked them to be a part of it. And I'm sure that all the board members will probably get asked some survey questions from the grad students as they are working through stuff. And I haven't done much marketing on it because of COVID. Nothing's ready to put out there for everyone to bid, and we're in county fair. And I don't want to tag team all the businesses right now. I think we start really hitting this fundraising hard once we get into August into September, if the state will open it up where I can get that video site going. Because people are asking how to donate, other than me giving them a letter and having them write a check and I send it to the state. There's not much they can't do, where this website will actually let them do it electronically. They can electronically send it to them and everything else. So we do have a funder that a 4-H member has talked to, that we're going to see about sponsoring the kitchen. We have created some naming stuff, and I don't know if that was in your board packet. Did I send you all the naming and donor stuff to everyone?
I'm looking.
Okay, I'm pulling it up just to be on the safe side, because I can share my screen and you can see it.
I don't see it.
Okay. All right. I'm pulling them both up and then I'll share my screen. And Vola actually helped from the committee to help do this. So I was excited to have her help because she's helped from the Master Gardener perspective on this. So can you guys see this screen? Should have a
Yep.
Clover, says Clover Wall of Fame.
Yeah.
So we have a 30-foot wall upstairs that is supposed to be white. And so I thought this would be a good donor wall. And we do it in the shape of Garfield County. As you can see, I really tried to get my artistic skills here. Use a combination of wood and metals, since we have a wood shop and a metal shop, and we're all about STEM and science, where we can go and engrave the donor's name, and the sizes of these would be based on their donation. The green would be for all of our volunteers that are in the 4-H world, because they donate a lot of time and money, and I think they should be recognized on the wall as we go down the road. The blue would be for our Master Food Safety Advisors, our advisory board, and our Colorado Master Gardeners to kind of give it some color. So this is my rendition of it. It's probably not exactly how it's going to look. And then we have the different levels, and I'll make sure I'll attach this to the minutes.
Okay.
So, and if you guys have changes on this, please just let me know. But our goal is to get some more of these. We already have the county at Diamond because they have $1.5 million invested already. We're trying to get one more $1 million sponsor. I'm working on $500,000, and we're working on $250,000. And the $250,000 would be for the kitchen.
Nice.
So, and Erin's been helping, trying to review all of this stuff also on top of Vola. So they've both been really helping, and Erin has volunteered to help us start marketing once we get the green light and can do more.
Okay. Is that all on the Education Center?
And then the naming. So this is what the rendition of the front of the building looks like. And this is just kind of what we said for naming. So the range would be at $500,000. We could actually name the boardroom. And all of these are based on square footage and price per building is how that comes up. The ballroom and classrooms and the kitchen and this upper lobby.
Nice.
So it kind of gives the layout without giving all the architectural details that are overwhelming. So I'm going to stop share. So that's what I've been working on putting together. The state's assigned a few more people to me from the state side that I'm working with also. But my goal is to really work with our local board, and Vola's really stepped up, and Erin, to help kind of review stuff and make sure it sounds right. And then Eric's volunteered to translate it all into Spanish for us.
Nice. Good. All right, Marketing Committee.
I'm thinking that's really going to be something that we are going to have to, I really would like for us to get better at marketing, and I think it's going to be the whole board. Eric has volunteered to help, but how do we get our name out there? And that kind of goes hand in hand with some of the new business that's coming up.
Yes.
I know in Carbondale, I'm marketed a lot through the rec center up there. And I know once we can get back to programming, Margaret probably has a list of people calling, when are we teaching? When are we teaching? But it's how do we look at that? What else do we need to do for marketing? We did some live videos this week for like 4-H open class. So I plugged when 4-H enrollment was in those live Facebook videos for the Garfield County Fair. I think we're going to see the Fair Board a little more involved in 4-H and helping us market 4-H more, but which is huge because most of the time we don't see them on the 4-H side, we see them on the other side.
Yeah.
So, but I would really like to sit down and maybe just have a marketing committee. What do we need to do different? From radio to media to newsletters, all of that. What's going to make more sense to our community?
Okay.
And Carla, we need to keep the Latino, Spanish
Yes.
involved as well. So whatever you do on one end should be done on the other. I think that's a big, big, big plus.
Yeah, and I've been trying to do that in the FCS newsletter with trying to make sure I have stuff translated there, because that's the easier one for me to get translated. Because nutrition translates really easy to Spanish, because nutrition in English is nutrition in Spanish. Nutrición. So that one's really easy. But looking at what we do normally every year, how do we market it both ways? And I know when we finally get the census done, I am pretty sure we're going to see our Hispanic numbers really go up. And the other part of that is making sure that when we're looking at new positions, we get, I mean, I know a little Spanish and I usually work a lot with those people. And if I can't understand them, then I'm calling Luz or Eric to help me. If we can't get the translation across, but I really think we got to focus on bringing somebody into the office who can really help us with some of that as we're moving forward.
I agree.
I know our Spanish 4-H club is going to have 100% completion this year. So that's exciting. That's a first time ever for them.
Cool. Okay. Recruitment for members for 2021 to 2023.
I'm trying. Margaret goes off this year. I believe Carrie goes off this year. Is that correct? Who is our third one? And you guys can always renew if you wish.
Is that October? What is
Yeah, we need to review everything by October and try to get everybody in for the October meeting.
Okay.
Membership.
If I'm allowed, I'm happy to renew.
You are allowed.
Hey, it might be me, Carla,
That's what I'm looking for.
stepping in for somebody, I think.
It is Carrie, Margaret, and Miranda.
Oh, okay.
And then next year it's Vola, Eric, and Alma.
Okay, got it.
So,
I'm gonna have to go off.
okay.
I'm sorry.
So we'll be looking somebody for 4-H and youth. And then I'm not sure what Miranda's plans are with school. I know the school teachers are trying to figure out how this next year is going to look. And so, and that's agriculture and youth. And I don't know if we try to look at recruiting somebody from CMC since they're trying to look at a CMC ag program.
Oh, that would be great to put that out there.
So,
Yeah.
and this is one of those marketing things. We probably should put stuff in the newspaper and how to apply. Is that what you're all thinking?
Yeah,
Yep.
I would.
Okay.
Or could we get KMTS to do something for us too? I know Gabe usually supports 4-H pretty
Yeah.
and extension.
Yeah, he'd be happy to do something, and he'd probably be happy to record something for community connection so we can talk about what. I know we're rewriting the manual that's supposed to be for training that's from 1970
Oh my goodness.
for extension advisory boards. So CJ asked me what is one thing he could help me with, and I said that is what I need right now. So I did put it on the regional directors to really look at rewriting that book and making it simpler and more up to date for our meetings. And how do we bring new people on so they understand that we need you. I need your input on what we need to be doing, where we need to be going.
Yep.
And you're going to be really important when we look at putting together this strategic plan for what extension looks like in the next 5 years. in Garfield County to present to the Board of County Commissioners.
Okay. Any other old business? All right, let's move on to new business. Letter to the BOCC for budget and staff replacement. I will try to get something wrote and get it to Carla and whoever else wants to see it. Coming from the advisory board committee, to see if the county, they're talking like they don't want to replace anybody that they have lost at the county due to COVID. But I don't think Carla can be in that office by herself and get everything done. So
I agree.
I am going to try to write a letter and I will get that to Carla and she can disperse it to everybody, or most everybody. And if we need to change things, it doesn't hurt my feelings if somebody wants to change my letters because I'm not the most eloquent writer you'll ever meet.
Now, Carla, will Trey's letter be included in the documents for the work session?
Yeah, I would like to include it in that document. I might not have it to start with, but I will send it to you when it's complete.
Okay.
To go on to the work session, and I know that's here, the meeting August 11th, as Vola said, I have to file stuff to an email to Fred and her to be a part of the work session. And so currently in the email, if I can get to it, I called Vola to pencil us in for August 11th at 9 a.m. This email is to follow up with a request to meet with the Board of County Commissioners during a work session in regards to CSU extension update is what we're calling it. Our discussion points are the position description reviews that you guys will be talking about here shortly for the Ag, Hort, Natural Resources, as well as the 4-H STEM after school and out of school, and as well as the community needs assessment. I think we need to tell them what's happening, what's being asked for us from the state. And this letter will be a part of that whole position description with all of this. And they're probably going to want to talk about our budget at the same time, which is why I worked hard to get the budget to you all to review and approve today.
So just for clarification, they're not wanting to replace those positions.
Board of County Commissioners has said they have to cut 20 positions this year. So I know in their county salary, which we're not part of that staff salary, they're cutting 20. But they're also, where we fall under is like with the DA's office, we're under the general fund as extension, and our budget's one lump budget, but within that we have salaries. So they may suggest, because of COVID and the loss of income coming in, that we might need to cut a position. Currently, they're telling us we have to take a 5% budget cut, which I figured out how to do that and keep everybody. It means we have to really look at finding other sources of funding for programming. But also at the same time, if they say 10% or more, we may be needing to look at a position cut.
Okay.
And to me, these are two essential positions for us, especially with COVID, homeschooling, families having to teach from home. I know RE1, Roaring Fork Valley, is doing distance learning to start with before they go to school.
Right.
And RE2 is a mix, and District 16 is still up in the air.
Well, RE2 we're coming back full, except for the families that want to stay online. They have that option. Yeah. For now.
For now. So it's going to change how AmeriCorps looks. It's going to change how some of our STEM programming looks. But I think we really need to look at how do we help those families who are wanting to do it online get a lot of our science stuff that we teach in after school and all that can help reinforce what they're learning in school, especially with kids who need that help and I remember doing programs in Carrie's classes years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And for some kids, it clicks.
Right.
So back to you, Trey.
Okay. Budget for 2021. And they said 5%, right, Carla?
Yeah. And I'm just over. So if you look at the bottom of page 2,
Yep.
I have what the amount is we would have to cut if it's 5, 10, or 20, and what I actually cut. And approximately $140,000 of our budget comes from sales tax in Garfield County.
Yeah.
So where did you cut from, Carla?
I cut from travel because we're not going to be traveling a lot.
Right.
A lot of our stuff has gone virtual. I cut out.
Oh, I see. Never mind. I see it. Look, yeah.
Yeah. So I put this year's budget and the proposed budget side by side so you guys can see.
Okay.
I cut some. We know nobody's getting pay raises this year, which go into the 2021 budget. I still accounted for if there is a 2% one, because that might be adjusted cost of living they might throw at us next year, but I have to kind of try to prepare for it. If we have ag and 4-H agents with master's degrees with benefits, I tried to make sure that I had enough in there. If we got to renew those positions, we had enough money to offer them to come because our cost of living is so much higher. I cut back on fair judges because for open class, we're using a lot of volunteers with master gardeners and master food safety advisors doing the judging and general projects. I pulled some certified leaders who are willing to donate their time this year. And so we'll probably do something similar to that next year to try to save money during fair. Travel, I cut quite a bit. I cut our advertising budget, but we should switch from travel into advertising. Our training budget's cut some, and that may cut even more. These are just our actual numbers that fall in line with the county numbers. But when the county looks at our budget, it's up to me and us to decide what categories they go to, because in the end, the $360,247 is what our budget line says for us to disperse. So if we spend less in travel, we need to move it to marketing. That's an easy move. That's why our AmeriCorps members are staying within the communities they live, so there's no travel.
So I'm not seeing, where are the salaries?
The salaries are at the top under professional services.
Okay.
So Alice, Alice
okay.
is in the top under administrative services as well as AmeriCorps.
Okay.
And then my salary is formula funded. So this is all the county pays of mine. The state and federal government picks up the rest of mine.
Okay.
And these are salaries plus benefits.
Okay.
With benefits are figured at about 26%.
Okay.
So a good chunk of our budget is salaries.
So we're hiring Abby's, you need to hire Abby's and Casey's.
Yeah.
And who's the 4-H program associate?
That is Janet, who's doing the livestock,
Oh, okay.
the livestock dog and horse.
Yeah, okay.
All right, any other questions on the budget? All right. Thanks for putting that together, Carla. It looks good.
Do you guys want to approve the budget for presentation to BOCC?
Oh, yes. Can we get a motion to approve this budget to take in front of the Board of County Commissioners?
I move to approve.
We have a move to approve by Margaret. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Carrie seconds. All those in favor, aye.
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 All those opposed? Motion carries. Thanks for putting that together, Carla. Community needs assessment is the next thing on the list.
Yes, and I have it pulled up here. Where did it go? Here it is. Okay. I'm going to share screen again, and then I will add this to the minutes. So I had to do a mandatory training yesterday for all county and area directors about CSU Extension's community needs assessment. So this is their general plan. Is OEE is going to do the perception survey, which is what we'll talk about is starting next week. There'll be a secondary data analysis, which is gathering all the surveys that have been done to this point and putting them all together in one area and reviewing them for what it might mean for extension. Doing focus groups and interviews about what programming that people might see, and then a final survey that's specific towards programming and anything else we might want. So this is kind of their overview to kind of get to the program plan. So once we get all this survey and everything built, it's going to be up to the advisory board to help us draft what our county plan is going to look like for extension for the next 5 years once this is complete. So this will be a project that we'll probably be working on next spring. But we'll have everybody involved as we try to go. So the first step of the process that we are supposed to be doing starting next week is a perception survey. And the perception survey is asking questions. Do they know about CSU Extension 4-H? What other programs might they have used from Colorado State Forest Service? Just to see, it's basically going to tell us how we're marketing, but it's also probably going to get those people who are mad at us about county fair and fair entry and the livestock sale. So it's going to be a catch-22 when we do this. Eagle and Garfield County are required to do this survey for Pitkin County and gather that information because they do not have an extension office and they want a complete survey of data throughout the state. So I have talked to Glenda, who's the county director in Eagle County. And she is willing to partner on all of this stuff because we share a lot of the same areas because Elgibel and Basalt, we do 4-H there, which is Eagle County and Pitkin County, but they also do horticulture there. So we thought it might be best to combine our efforts because a lot of our surveys are being done together. Our food equity surveys being done together by all 3 counties. There's a lot of surveys that are already done by Garfield, Eagle, and Pitkin counties. And we thought maybe we should combine all of our survey efforts and then let the advisory board split the plans.
Sounds good.
So
All right.
Carla, how are the surveys being sent out?
they are going to be done in what's called Qualtrics. And I can show you a Qualtrics survey we have completed. I just got to get to that page. So Qualtrics is a university. It does all the backside data analysis for you. We used it for Garfield County Outdoors to do the survey. Qualtrics survey. There we go. For needs assessment and stuff. And so I'm pulling that one up so you can see what it looks like. It lets you use multiple languages. So it doesn't matter what language the person speaks, we can even go so much as to put in our Chinese in here to help those families too, because we do have quite a bit of that in the community as well. And these are closed right now, but I can at least show these to you, because I don't have the other survey link right in front of me. So let me open this. So this is the youth survey that we've just completed, and I was big onto this one. We got 18,000 responses back. If it'll let me open. So it was just basic questions. I am da 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 da. And when you go to preview, this can be done on a phone, a tablet, any computer, so they can actually do it on their phone. And this is what it looks like on the phone on the side. Over this side, I can change it to Spanish, because I did both of these in English and Spanish. So I was the back side of this. I taught the state how to get to the Spanish side. And they're actually contracting with a group out of Denver who does conversational Spanish, not academic Spanish. And conversational is what we need for our community.
Right.
Yes.
So that was a specific question I asked, but so I like the fact that they can do it on their phone, because everybody has a phone. When we did this survey originally in the community 4 years ago, we got about 200 kids and 100 adults. And this time when we did it, we got 1,800 kids and 600 adults. So let me go back to my survey.
So how are people accessing this survey? I guess that was my question. Like, how are they getting it?
Well, what they're asking for us to do is to email it to everybody in our contact list and email it out there. When we did this one, we also put it on Facebook. So I think we should put it on our Facebook post, maybe share it with the fair and share it with our partners to put out there. Because I know I do a lot of work with Margaret, and I think that would be good for Margaret to share to that community to see when we've come in and done stuff. Because I won't have all of those emails of everybody I've taught to, or that are, different programs I've taught to up there. Margaret can send it out, hey, here's a link for a survey we're looking at information on for some of the programmings that have happened here. Can you provide input?
And I would share that to our entire rec email contact list. We have it on our list.
So this is the survey that I created, and it was specifically for Silt, Newcastle, Parachute. So it went out through the school districts. We did Facebook. And I've looked at the one, but I haven't seen how many questions is in it. Does it say? I'm going to pull it over here and see if it says. So you should be seeing a website page. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, so this is the website for community needs assessment that everybody can access. So these are the steps I have to go through. The perception survey is where we're going to go to starting next week. Let me see if it opens. And it's about an understanding and familiarity with the Office of Engagement. So Office of Engagement not only is CSU Extension, it is CSU Water Quality, it is CSU Forest Service. There's actually 5 divisions within this department, and we're just one. And that's not the survey, so I'm trying to find. And they're supposed to be sending us a link on this survey. But this is all the steps and all the tools. And there are 2 staff people and 1 college that is supposed to help us put all of this together at the end and work with us. And the university's paying for it. We're not, other than my time to get it all out there.
That helps.
Yes, it helps a lot, because putting all this together and doing focus groups cost a lot. That's where and I'm trained to run focus groups, but in this particular instance, I do not think I should run focus groups in our own county. I think it needs to be somebody neutral who's not me. Because I want people to be verbal and honest and me not be in the room.
Yeah. Sometimes that does work better for sure.
So it will go out to the school districts.
Yep.
Is that what you're, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it needs to go to the school, everybody that we've worked with. So school districts, I'll get with Heather to figure out how do we send it out to the school district people, because we've done stuff in the classrooms, the teachers, after school. There's a lot of teachers I've worked with one-on-one. There's things we probably should improve on.
Right.
But I don't. And they
Teresa,
want all this back by the end of August, so before school starts, which is
Oh.
crazy. So we're gonna have like a 2-week turnaround.
Wow. All right, anything else for community needs assessment?
So I just wanted you guys all to know. Go ahead, Vola.
So let me ask a question. So when will that go out to the schools?
I am going to meet with Glenda and I are meeting next week because I've been in fair this week. She tried calling me yesterday while we were doing open class premiums. She just finished fair. So it's my goal that she and I meet on Monday. We have a scheduled meeting on Tuesday that we always meet, and to get it out to talk to all the superintendents and whoever their communications officer is by next week, because I have to have the result. It closes on the 28th of August. So my goal is it needs to be going out to the community by Friday, August 7th to give us 21 days.
Okay, got it.
That's my goal.
Plenty of time, I would think.
I think that, and the only people I cannot send it to is the Board of County Commissioners, because they already get their own personal survey. But they, I know, are some of our, spouses are some of our volunteers. So that's the other part of that trick. They're probably still going to see it, and they're probably still going to answer it. And I don't know how you tell them not to answer it.
Yeah.
I'm
True.
just going to let them do what they choose to do.
Yeah.
So that's the other big project that we just found out about.
Don't you love surprise projects?
I knew it was coming. I just thought it was only going to be the pilot communities this year and not the whole state. The pilot communities have to go through it in 6 weeks, but it's the whole state starting right now.
Okay. Cool. Videos for education, the YouTube channel and translations. I think you talked a little about that earlier. The new equipment.
I bought some of my own personal, but I'd like to, a lot of our stuff is going electronically. And how do we make this better for everybody? Creating our own YouTube channel that falls within CSU so we can create some of these videos. So like maybe if we get to go back to Carbondale and teach, that maybe somebody's videoing all the classes to make it easier so that we can still promote it afterwards or later, or even creating one-off videos of different things. So those are some of the questions, because we're looking at this new digital world of education. Right now, I have the sourdough video. It's 18 minutes. That's too long. It's got to be about 5. 5's our max. And I'm shooting it with my home camera and an iPhone. And I bought a little round light because you have to have light. Because when you look at my kitchen, it kind of looks like Carrie's kitchen. We have dark spots everywhere. And when you get on the counter and you've got to show up close, and there's different things. And I'm trying to get it with Mark Rose to find out what else would help us. I did buy the microphone that I'm supposed to wear. It was $200 because it goes on you and you record, and then you use that voice over the top of the other so that it's louder than all the background noises. So that's a big thing. So I did go ahead and do that, because if I've got to do these edits, I can't keep borrowing the equipment from the university. Mark is willing to do all the edits and merge it together. But I would like to talk to Luce and Eric about how do we do some of these classes in Spanish, because I really think we need to teach the same thing in English and the same thing in Spanish. And those are my two educators I know that I can ask to teach, and they'll teach in Spanish and not think twice about it. But if there's other people we know, we may have to pay for translation.
Yeah. Okay.
So I know we're going to have some salary savings this year. I don't know the exact amount of some of this equipment and what it may cost. Is this an okay idea to use some of this money? And I'm thinking no more than $5,000 to get the equipment we need to try to be virtual.
I think it is, with the way the world is right now, everything's virtual. And if we got to do it virtual, we need to have the right equipment to get it done.
And I totally agree with that.
So,
Yeah, I
Do you-
agree too, because even if, whenever COVID goes away, I think people have learned a new way to communicate. And I think there'll just be more stuff done online now. So I think that would be good.
yep.
And from a teaching perspective, I'm with you, Carla. I understand what it's like to try and teach without the proper equipment and try and put something out that's high quality, and it just doesn't, it's not the same. And there are going to be, yeah, it'll be nice. And I think it'll also provide, like what you do now provides a good marketing opportunity for the future, because almost all of our marketing now is digital or radio, and to have it in both English and Spanish is important.
For sure.
So I just wanted the blessing of the board to kind of start steering that direction. And the nice thing is we can build cameras into the new facility, so it makes it easy to video.
Nice.
So that's something we can plan on too, because we'll have a demonstration kitchen up there.
That'll make it a lot easier for you.
Yeah, that's still a year down the road. I do have a kitchen I've been using, but I do have some dark spots, so it's hard. It's a house that's completely empty, and I have the whole kitchen. I
Nice.
just haul my stuff in. So,
All right. Any announcements? Other than our next meeting's October 23rd, correct?
yes. That is correct.
At 9 o'clock, I'm assuming? More
Yes.
than likely still Zoom.
Very possibly.
Anybody else have any announcements? All right, hearing none, I will adjourn the meeting at 9:54. Thank you all for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Logging in.
Bye. Have a healthy day.
Bye-bye. Good to
Bye.
see you.
Y'all.
Bye.